What's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to some afternoon sports talk with me and the homie JD. What up, JD? What's going on, bro?
Dude, not much. Just gonna play some 2K later and chill with you and talk some football. It's gonna be a fun afternoon, man. Staying safe.
So, so let's kind of jump right into it. Do you think we're gonna get an NFL season?
I mean, it's really up in the air, but I really think that the NBA, how the NBA responds, whether the NBA responds with, whether they respond with like a Vegas tournament or just Vegas playoffs in general, if they're able to get the whole NBA season or the whole NBA postseason and not limit it really, and they make money, make ad revenue off of it, because it's the name of the game is money. What's up, Karam? Welcome to the stream. The name of the game is money. You know what I mean? And if they can make money off of it, they'll get it.
See, I personally think basketball and hockey are screwed. Football. I think is the our only chance at a full season of something. Because well, baseball possibly. I think it really depends on how bad this thing really is. What up, Adam? What's up, Karam?
It really does. And the thing that I was talking about, with somebody, I think it was somebody about baseball. I don't remember exactly when, but we were talking about baseball really needs the in-game revenue. You know what I'm talking about? Like they need every dollar from like every beer, from like all the chips and the nachos. They need that.
To
Basketball and football
survive, because
might
they're
not. Yeah, they might not need it.
yeah. No, yeah, because baseball's ratings have slowly been going down. So it's yeah.
The ad revenue is not there for them. Whereas football, you could play it without fans and quarantine everyone, the football players. Although that's like 70 people to quarantine per team with coaches
And
and
here's the
everything.
thing too, dude, you run the risk if one person gets it, then you run the risk of like two whole
Everybody.
teams being out of it for the season.
That's really the volatile, dangerous thing about this. Like basketball probably will be the easiest thing to get done. And if they can't even get that done, then it doesn't look good for the other ones.
That I mean, so um, like just to put it
I'll
into
hop on the street.
perspective, the people at the Garden and so the part time workers at for the Bruins and the Celtics, right? They both have been laid off. So they like a month ago, they basically said we drained the ice for the hockey. Like they drained it. They let it thaw and drain.
Ooh, wow.
And they picked up the parquet floor and put it in storage. So it's basically the Garden is basically down to the concrete. They're not anticipating either of those seasons in this city.
Wow. I did not know that. I mean,
So
that tells me more than anything.
but that's what I mean. If they took up the parquet and then drained the ice, they gotta know. They gotta know something.
And the
Because
people
think
with
about it.
money do know. Yeah.
Think about it too, because it's like that building's got to stay refrigerated for that ice to stay to stay solid and ready to play. Because when you run a dual building like that, people don't realize that they just put the floor for the Celtics right over the ice. They lay a
Yeah.
protective layer on it, and then they literally just put the floor together on the ice. So it's
Really?
if they thawed the ice out and let everything melt, it's not looking good. It's
I wonder
not
if that's
looking
how
good
the United Center is too. I'm not sure actually. I have to look into that. That's interesting.
because it's just too hard. I mean, it's too hard to go back and forth because it takes like two whole days to 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 paint the ice, to basically build a new ice rink. So they basically just leave the ice there and just build the Celtics court over the top of it.
It's crazy, man. It's really it would really stink. I'm hoping that we get I'm hoping that we get it, man. I'm hoping that we get the NFL season, the preseason. It doesn't look like we're gonna get OTAs, but I don't think. But maybe by the end of that, like by what would it be? What would it be like October, September? Yeah, September, mid September. Maybe we can get back
Probably
to
middle
normal.
of
I don't know.
September.
It is a long ways away, but we have time.
Yeah, yeah, I know we do.
Not that much time though. What's up, Leafs? What's up,
So
other coach?
so let's jump right into this, JD. What do you we'll go to your Bears first since they're they made some pretty good moves this offseason. What do you think of the Bears offseason so far? I know it's not over yet, but what do you think so far?
Well, I definitely think that this is what I think. I think that in 2018 they caught lightning in a bottle, and they think that now if they can just get the quarterback right and they can get the receivers right and they get all the little things right, then the defense can carry them to a potential championship or at least an NFC championship. And I think that they're trying to go all in with Nick Foles and have him come in. They looked at the way that he mentored Carson Wentz, Gardner Minshew. And yeah, they're saying maybe you can help Trubisky, and if not, you can be a placeholder until we find someone who can like be the long term solution, and maybe we can win a title with you. That's kind of like a Hail Mary pass. Nick Foles is. It's not it's not anything lucrative, but it's a Hail Mary pass with really good receivers, in my opinion. Not that the Bears have good receivers, but the fact that Nick Foles has done it before and he's in Nagy's offense. I really like that. So it's all it's a good picture, but I don't know if it'll come into fruition.
Like I trust Nick Foles more than I trust Trubisky.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's no question about that. Trubisky.
Because here's the thing, Nick Foles isn't if a guy if a tight end is streaking down the seam wide open and he's 30 yards down the field, Foles isn't going to be afraid to hit him. Trubisky might hesitate to make that throw. Foles wouldn't.
Foles has ice, and I mean, there's a reason why his nickname is Big D Nick. Big D Nick, because man, let me tell you, like this dude is in the clutch. He's ice cold. There's nothing,
no fear,
no
fear at all.
Nothing it's too big for him. He's just clutch, confident, everything, like everything you could think. And the only thing that he lacks really is like overwhelming talent. Really, he has all the little things. He honestly reminds me of Tom Brady. If I'm going to use someone, he reminds me of Tom Brady because he's very accurate. He throws middle of the field passes. He never really misses a check down pass. It's just he's not overwhelmingly talented, so people don't give him a lot of credit.
So, so now if you're looking towards the draft, JD, what do you give me your top 3 needs for the Bears this year?
This would be a really important draft. I don't necessarily think for the defense, although we could use maybe one more defensive back there.
Like a depth piece.
Could probably just somebody like maybe in the 4th round, somebody that is a solid 4-year player who buys into the system, does what he's told.
Nickel and dime guy.
Yeah, exactly. A simple guy that we could definitely use one more of those. We kind of lost those guys. They signed big deals. We had Bryce Callahan, but he's on and off. Anyway, another thing we could use, which we never seem to be able to draft, is a receiver. Just one, maybe. Just a slot guy, probably. A really solid piece that will fit well with Nick Foles. And then offensive line. We're going to need to replace Kyle Long somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys need to fill some holes on that O-line big time, especially now that since they're kind of moving forward with Nick Foles, they're gonna want to protect him.
Cody Whitehair's health just became like top priority, and because like he was a little bit banged up last year. Now everyone's like, "Oh crap, we just lost Kyle Long." Like, holy crap, are you good, Cody? Is everything good with you? Like, if we lose you, we are screwed, man. We do not have much besides him. Like, we're average besides Cody Whitehair. He's a solid player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's up, Dane? What's up? Who I saw? Eric is in here. Coach is in here. What's going on, buddy? What's up, Dane? Leafs. For the Pats, we see this is going to be an interesting year for the Patriots. Very interesting, because to be honest, I think they draft quarterback first.
I find it interesting that we did a Twitter mock draft, and I actually was the Patriots, and I wanted to draft a quarterback, but the only ones that were available were Jake Fromm, and this could be different in real life, obviously. But the only ones that became available to me, and thanks for the subscription, Jay's Catfishing, shout out to you, were Jake Fromm and what was it? Eric Talk Sports helped me. It was Jake Fromm and I think Jalen Hurts. That was it. That was all I had left. And there's no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, but I don't think he's a first-round quarterback. Do you?
No. I don't think he sees the field that good. I think his football IQ is lacking, and he tends to lean more towards raw athleticism rather than, using his mind to actually read a defense. Where I think Fromm might not be as athletic as Hurts is, but I think his football IQ is higher. I will say this. According to NFL scouts, Fromm had one of the best pro days for the quarterbacks this year.
See, I think Hurts has gotten a lot better this year, but when you were with Alabama, I agree with you. He was very limited. I think under, what's his name? Dang it, I forgot the guy's name. From Oklahoma, the Oklahoma coach who's really good. I think under him, he's really thrived, at least a little bit, for passing, but I don't know if it's pro level. That's the thing. You got to be accurate. You got to be, knock you out of the park good. And I think you're right. I think he's relatively limited.
That's what I mean. That's like, according to what I've read, and and this is coming from like the NFL scouts at the combine and stuff. They said Fromm had one of the better pro days they've seen for the quarterbacks. Like they put him like top 4 for. They said he looked really good. But I don't know about you, JD, but I don't think he would fit that great with the style offense that the Patriots run, because Fromm's kind of one of those air it out guy, air raid kind of guys, and
right.
I don't know if that doesn't fit the Patriots.
Hasn't he won a title though? Correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't Fromm won a title? So that's nice. That's decent.
I've just from the start, man. For the last couple, maybe I've never been a Fromm guy. I didn't
draft him.
I've never been a true believer in Fromm.
I drafted AJ Espinoza.
Yeah.
How do you like that
pick? They're gonna go after, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to grab Jordan Love.
Oh, other coach, he got close. He didn't win a title. Never mind. He got close. He made it there. He blew it in the title game. See, you don't want a choker. You don't want me with the Knicks where I made it one game of the finals and I failed. So yeah, we can't have a choker. Say what's up, Connor Brick.
But I don't think Fromm's style fits the Patriots' style.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think the Patriots are going to need a really, really high IQ guy. I think they're going to need a guy they're probably, if you ask me, the smartest thing that they could do, in my opinion, is to tank for Trevor Lawrence. And Bill Belichick is going to get all types of bad headlines. And
because
people like me are going to write things like, see, Tom's better and all this stuff. Exactly. But I think it'd be better.
He's never tanked before. Because he likes winning too much. So for him to tank, it would be like
you'd probably be depressed.
Something new. Coach K said no tank for Trevor. Tank mode might be engaged this year, Coach. It might.
It might happen whether you like it or not.
they just so the Pats, like, I truly think it's the most interesting part of the Patriots is they have more gaps and holes to fill in on that team than there is picks in the draft, that they have picks in the draft. So they're going to have to, I think personally they're going to go after a quarterback, whoever they think can do it. They're going to take their shot at a quarterback this year in the first round. The second pick they make, I think, is going to be some sort of an offensive lineman. And then the third round, I do believe they're going to go defensive back, safety, or I think it's going to be a safety or free safety, because Devin McCourty, he's probably got 1 or 2 years left and that's it. So, and they need that guy over, over the top guy to help some of these to help some of these, because Gilmore, I mean, whoever they put on the other side, they're going to have. That's usually how they do it. They put Gilmore on the number. Well, they put Gilmore on the number 2 guy, and they shut him down with Gilmore. And then they go, whoever the number 1 receiver, they put whatever corner is opposite Gilmore plus the safety over the top. So the safety's got to be a good pick. So I think, and I mean, with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, you're going to want the best offensive line you can assemble to be in front of him. If you're gonna throw this kid to the wolves and trial by fire, which is basically what they're, it from all intents and purposes coming out of Patriots camp, that's what it looks like. It's going to be Jarrett Stidham, going into the year. And I mean, think about this: Stidham's going to have to face the Niners. Stidham's going to have to face the Seahawks. He's going to have to face the Cardinals. The Chiefs, dude, it is not an easy schedule this year for the Pats. That kid, you want to talk about trial by fire. He's in for one hell of a year.
I think it's entirely on him. I think you hit it on the head. It's entirely on Stidham. And also I think that Bill Belichick's thought process, which might be a fatal weakness, or he could be right, is that he thinks that he can take almost any quarterback in late rounds. He thinks he can win with them. He thinks, can you throw it 40 yards? Can you listen? Can you do what I say? All right, then you'll be just like Tom Brady. He really thinks that. He believes that deep down in his soul, and I don't think he's right.
I mean, he did take Matt Castle and go 11-5.
But they didn't make the playoffs. But I mean,
that's because the
true,
freaking Jets beat them out that year.
13-3. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
they probably would have made the playoffs in most years. And Matt Castle is a solid player. We saw him almost go to the. He went 9-7 a couple times with the Chiefs. So we can't. I mean, we got to give him a little credit too. But I agree with you that obviously there was good coaching involved.
We are going to get Patriots Nation is going to get the answer they've been looking for the last 5 years. Who's better?
Yeah, who's better? Who matters more? Yeah,
who matters more? Who was it all these years? Who was it? Was it Brady's? Was it Brady's skill or was it Belichick's coaching? We're gonna get the answer this year.
I kind of agree with Connor Burke, who said, well, the other coach says it's Stidham time, butcher's block, and then Connor Burke says take a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round. Can't give up Stidham just yet. He looks like he sucks for a few appearances, but a full offseason with I agree with that. I think a full offseason does wonders.
Yeah, Connor, the one thing we're gonna get to see out of Stidham this year is like exactly what you said, man. He was we're gonna get to see Stidham get to take the reps with the number ones. We're gonna get to see him. We're going to get to see him in the number 1 starting role and see what he can, see what he can do. I've been a big fan of when you judge these rookie quarterbacks and they start, you got to give a quarterback 3 years before you really pass a judgment on him. That first year, obviously, it's a massive learning curve. The second year is when you see when it separates good quarterbacks, when it separates good quarterbacks from the bad ones, is because they take that first year and they review the tapes and they learn and they improve. If you see no improvement, then it's not,
I feel you, and here's the thing here's 2 things working for Belichick in this favor. The first thing is that Stidham has a really, really good reputation. I looked into him a little bit. He has a really, everywhere he's been, everybody tells him, oh, dude, this dude's cold. Like, if you give him blocking, if you do, he'll tear you apart. So this is from high school. Like, his high school coach was saying that.
He was good in Auburn. He was real good in Auburn.
Going, he's a momentum guy. Like, if he can get going, if he can get a rhythm, you're dead.
Yeah, but who does that remind you of? Brady. Brady was a rhythm guy.
Brady. I mean, that's clearly who Belichick wants. He wants a guy like Brady, but he wants a young guy, and he wants a guy to buy in. And maybe Stidham is bought in. If he's bought in, then it does look well. It'll look good for the Patriots.
Belichick, from the reports coming out of Foxborough, Belichick likes this kid a lot, and he's like, if Belichick's giving him this much praise and he sees this much potential, there's there's a lot of potential there. It could he could be real good, but we're gonna we're gonna see. So what do you think, JD, for record wise for your Bears? What do you thinking? Where are you looking at?
Well, optimistically, I'd like to say 12 wins again, but realistically, I want to say about 10, and we'd be lucky to make the wild card. Probably 10 wins, probably 9. I think we'll go up. We'll have an uptick because I think Foles adds a level of stability, but I do think that we're not going to be as good as 2018. That was a special year.
That trade with the Eagles killed you guys. Getting rid of Howard killed you guys.
I had a video on it. I recorded the second it happened. I was like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean Jordan Howard's gone? Like for a second round pick?" I was like, "What?" I was so pissed.
I mean, why Howard? Like, get rid of.
It worked out badly for everyone.
Like that dude was such a huge part of the success of that team. Like, why?
I don't get it either. I mean, he was what they succeeded when they would just give it to him over and over and over, and then they'd give you Tariq Cohen as a different look, and it would totally throw everyone off, and that was the run game. But then when you just give Tariq Cohen, you got nothing.
Yeah, like I said, Howard was clearly the better back. Clearly.
I mean, yeah, he was the most complete back, and that's true, Crom. I was super pissed. Yeah, I was really pissed off because I knew this. I knew that Howard is the better back. I love Tariq Cohen. I think he's a good player, but he needed someone to balance him out. He needed someone to attack the middle 8 times so that when he bounces outside, it's really special. It's like, whoa, we weren't expecting that. That's what he needed, and now he doesn't have that, and now he's a lesser player because of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I know.
That's how football works. It's a team sport.
Yep.
One person's off, then everybody's off. That's why I understand Belichick's motto of like, I'm not going to play pay like skill positions really, because it's like, dude, like it's not that hard to run a football, and you know how many people want to run. Like Belichick's smart with that. You know how many people want to play running back, wide receiver, and stuff. Be the guy with the football. Belichick's the guy. I got a dime a dozen.
No, I know.
Sorry, I'm hyper.
For the Pats, man, I'm thinking somewhere I would be shocked if they won 11 games. I'm thinking 9-7, 10-6. Realistically, with the schedule that they have, I'm putting them 9-7, 10-6.
And you know what that will do? That will not answer anyone's question. That won't, because it's expected for them to get a little worse. But if they take a huge step back, then everyone will say, "Oh, well, Tom was the real genius behind that." But if they take a tiny step back, they'll just say, no, it was mixed."
Yeah. No, I know.
I think you're right.
So here's the thing: if the Pats go 9-7, and the Bucks go 11-5, you know what's?
I mean, then they're both great, and everyone.
Like let's say the Bucks go 11-5 or 10-6 and win the division, or come in second in the division behind the Saints, and make the playoffs.
If the Bucks made the playoffs in that division, which is a harder division than, in my opinion, well, maybe not anymore, but it was a harder division for a long time.
It just became, when Brady signed with the Bucks, it became a 2-team division. Saints and them. Those are the teams that are going to fight it out in that division.
I guess the Panthers without Luke Kuechly not really getting anything done. So
they don't have a quarterback. The
they don't
Panthers need a quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback, and they don't have a middle linebacker, so they're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McCaffrey's going to have a rough couple of years. But I'm with you. I think they have a chance. I think the Bucks definitely have a chance to make the playoffs. Maybe win the division. Because the Saints.
I think it's a 2-team division. It's going to be the Saints, and I think the Bucks could make the playoffs. I realistically do.
I think the Saints are like their window is closing shut really fast,
really fast.
really fast.
Like I'm gonna
Crump
say,
Crump says Panthers have Teddy Bridgewater. How do you feel about that?
that's true. I'll be interesting to see. See now, I hope they don't use him like Cam Newton because they ran Cam Newton into the freaking ground.
No.
So I hope they use Bridgewater as a thrower.
That would be insane. That would be insane if they did.
Because you saw that dude, they ran Newton into the ground. They ran that dude into the ground.
And I don't like to give him a lot of credit, but Colin Cowherd called this one a long time ago. I remember him saying that like 3 years ago. He said, "Hey, this guy's got like maybe this might be his best year ever, Cam Newton." And then what happened? Hasn't been the same since that year, since that one really great year that he dominated everyone physically. Because it's hard to replicate that if you put everything and into your body and you're the most dominant player and you just get your ass kicked for like 2 years. It's really hard to get back up.
Like CMC is a beast. But it's like if he doesn't have any help, like that's the same. It was like he was an animal last year, but he had no help. You know what I mean? He had no help around him. The guy would have monster games. The guy would have monster games, and they would still lose.
Sorry, I couldn't get my mute up. You could argue that he was the MVP last year. I mean, you really could. Not to say that Lamar Jackson wasn't, but Lamar Jackson did have a lot of people. Like he had a really good run game, really good offensive line, really good defense. He obviously deserved the award, and I wouldn't take it away from him, obviously. But I just think that CMC definitely had an argument for the MVP because of how little he had and how much they won.
So Coach K makes a good point. He says Matt Rule will be interesting to watch this year too.
Is it the Giants coach, right?
No, Matt Rule, the Panthers guy.
Oh, that's Judge. Oh yeah, Matt Rule. Okay, yeah, it will be interesting because you're replacing a really good coach in Ron Rivera, so it could either go one of two ways. Either you could get a lot better, or you get a lot worse. I feel like you're not going to stay the same.
Yeah. Rule. He's a good coach. I just I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna have trouble translating into the NFL. He might. What's up? Hey, you're on. Hold on, your mute was on, JD.
Whoops. I thought, it lagged there. My bad. I was going to say that I agree with the Beltway here. He says that the Bills could probably win that division. I actually kind of think that the Bills will win that division. What do you think? Who do you think will win the AFC East? Do you think the Pats could win?
I don't know, man. It's for the first time in like 16 years, the AFC East is going to be competitive. So it's because the Bills they added Stephon Diggs, so and they've made some pretty good. They're a legitimate quarterback away from making some noise.
Well, and Josh Allen, I feel like he's rounding into his confidence, which is when that happens with quarterbacks. You look at Peyton Manning, you look at John Elway, you look at all the greats when they round into their Andrew Luck, especially his third year. Holy crap, he put like 45 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, when that happens, man, you see an explosion. Carson Wentz is another good example. If he can stay healthy, obviously, Josh Allen has a good chance of being a superstar.
Yeah, they're a legitimate quarterback away from being their defense is good. The Bills' D is very good.
Good run game too.
And they have a decent offensive line. It's like I said, dude, they're close. They're very close. And then Miami obviously loaded up this offseason too.
Allen's got to see, we got to see if Allen is Carson Wentz or if he's Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? That's what we got to find out. We think that Josh Allen could be Carson Wentz, but is he really Jay Cutler? Because you don't want Jay Cutler.
It's like, I don't know if I trust the Bills coaching either. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they make really good decisions, And then like I'll be watching a game and it's just like, what are you doing, McDermott? What are you doing?
I think McDermott has his crap together, but I also think that he isn't exceptional, and that's why he got replaced in Philadelphia and why he was never really a head coach before. I don't think he's not. I don't know that much about him. Just going off of reputation, I don't know if he's an exceptional coach.
Yeah.
You might need an exceptional coach to win. I don't. It's hard to win these days.
I got another team for you that we could kind of dive into that floundered a little bit last year, and they kind of they surprised me with how well they did, even though they were jumping from quarterback to quarterback, back and forth, and that's the Steelers. What do you think of Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. I mean, one thing is I'll say, I was wrong about Mike Tomlin. Totally wrong. Because I used to say, oh, Mike Tomlin's a dysfunction. He's all over the place. When Bill Cowher was there, everything was better. And that's not the case. Because you remove Bill or Ben Roethlisberger or whatever, and this dude is the only thing keeping this team together. Like, seriously, everything else is all over the place. People are hitting each other in the face, and like, that's just one incident. But like, they're not the same franchise without Big Ben, and they're definitely, if they didn't have Mike Tomlin, they would have been a losing franchise for sure. Because they were in shambles. They were all over the place, losing AB, Le'Veon Bell. He kept them together,
See, now, one thing, like, I don't know how good Tomlin is as like a head coach, because I don't really follow, the Steelers too heavily. I know a little bit, but what I will say is he is very good at managing egos.
Right, like a Phil Jackson type of deal. Like
he's very good at managing egos, because the Killer Bees there, they stayed together for that long because he was able to manage their egos, and
look at AB
keep them
now.
pointed in the same direction.
Nobody can handle that guy. Look at Antonio Brown now, man.
But that's what I mean. And what Tomlin did it for 6 years, I think, right?
Yeah, he's kept AB in check. Everybody's like, oh, AB, he's out of control, man. He's out of control. He was probably way worse when he was younger. Tomlin just snapped him into shape, and then AB got a lot of money, and then nobody could tell him nothing.
So from what a couple of Steeler fans have told me, like Steel Maiden and I think Leedy has told me too, that they're saying Big Ben's going to start. Like, he's going to start this year. Do you think that elbow is going to be okay? Do you think he'll be able to?
As far as I know, he's throwing. I think I saw on Twitter or something that he was throwing in his backyard a few weeks before the COVID thing started taking off. I don't know, man. Like, I don't see why not. Like, they need him. What I would do is I would start him, and I would draft a quarterback. You can't go with Mason Rudolph. Not only do people not like him, but he's just not that good of a quarterback, and he doesn't seem like he's.
I think Hodges was better than Rudolph.
Right? Yeah, you could keep Hodges and then maybe draft a guy. I don't know. That's what I would do personally. But
at least from the games that I saw, I think Hodges had his shit together better than Rudolph did.
And that's the thing. Like, Ben's one of these guys. I feel like he wants to. Especially he argued it a while. Like, for a while, he was like, oh, I'm just going to retire or whatever. But I think now he's seen like Brady and a couple other people like Breeze last a long time. I think he wants to go till the wheels fall off. So it's like, okay, throw him in there, and if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. And that's the end of his career. So,
yeah, like I said, I don't. I mean, I know that elbow injury was pretty bad. I know it was pretty severe. So, and I know it was, the recovery was not going to be easy. So, I like I said, I don't know too much more than that. But if Big Ben, if he's healthy and he can get back to what he was, maybe 2 years ago, then they could definitely make some noise. That's for sure.
We got a lot of people in the chat talking about AB, where they want him, and we got like a lot of people saying they would give Rudolph one more year. That's what Trevor said. I kind of agree. Like, if he's better, if you think he's better than Hodges, I would only give one of those guys one more year because you got to draft a new guy. You can't just sit on your hands.
So Leedy says Ben says he's throwing without pain for the first time in years. So that's a good sign for Steeler fans.
That rehab, man. You know, you
Yeah,
give
that's
somebody
that's
that
a
much
good
time
sign.
off.
That's a good
That's what
sign
it
for
does.
sure.
And I mean, he could just be saying that, but if he's throwing it all, I feel like that's a giant win.
Yeah. But see, they're another team. Like they what did they go 8-8 last year? I think
Yes. Sorry. I thought it was.
they went 8-8 last year, right?
Yes.
If Ben is healthy and he's like good to go, and they let him play through the preseason just to kind of knock the rust off, and give him some reps through preseason and stuff like that. If he's the quarterback, I mean, you kind of have to pencil them in for at least 9 or 10 wins, at least.
I would agree. Like 9, 10 wins,
9 or
especially
10
if he's
at
the
least.
quarterback. Yeah, I mean, they got a good defense, a young, budding defense with don't they have 1 Watt or 2 Watts? I don't remember if
They have
both
2 now.
Watt
They
brothers.
just signed.
They have
2. They
yeah.
just signed another one.
And they have Minka Fitzpatrick. Am I right about that? Still, so they have some guys
Yes.
on that defense. They have a couple guys in the defense, and yeah, they can make a run, man. You know, you never know what could happen in the NFL. It's one and done. So with Ben, he wants one more, and if he can go out on top, then that's what he wants to do. So you give it to him. Obviously, I do think though, if they win a Super Bowl, Ben's done.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I don't
no
think it's
doubt.
like Brady.
Yeah,
Brady's
no,
like, I want 9. Yeah, Ben just wants one more.
The Browns, but see, with Ben back in there, it does change the complexion of that division. You know what I mean? Like I think
totally.
it knocks. I think the Steelers. See, I think the Steelers D and the Browns D are kind of a wash because they're both going to be really good. You know, the Steelers and Browns defenses are.
good.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of a wash. You know, you take that element out. I think they're both a wash. So it's really going to come down to which offense do you trust more? Do you trust the Ravens offense, or do you trust the Steelers offense to kind of produce more? Or I mean not the Ravens. Do you trust the Browns offense in Mayfield, or do you trust an aging Ben Roethlisberger to put up more points than the Browns?
You don't think much of the Ravens? I think the Ravens might be able to repeat.
I think the Ravens are gonna they'll take a step back this year, but they're still gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, like becoming the AFC North champion is hard. It's definitely difficult. It's not something that's done lightly. And people, they scheme for you next time. They figure out ways to adapt to what you do. My thing is, though, I don't know if anyone else is as dominant of players as they have. Like, they have really good offensive line. They have solid running backs, and they have an athlete at quarterback who can make the throws. He is accurate. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league last year. It's just a matter of he's maybe a little shaky in the pocket. People still argue that he's not a precision passer. But at the same time, I mean, if you can have him run the offense,
you're talking about
Jackson,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody made an interesting point. They said if Brandon Rodgers said if the Ravens get AB, that would be a game changer, and yes, it would, because they would probably be able to compete with the Chiefs on an offensive level at that point.
Leedy says he's impossible to control and he would destroy the Ravens locker room. One thing I'd say to that is that I'm pretty sure that's his cousin, and I'm pretty sure they're close, that it's in the Ravens locker room. So
yeah, it's Hollywood Brown, right?
Yeah, maybe if you don't pay him a lot of money, he won't act a fool. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Everyone's paying him all this money, and he thinks he's tough.
Dude, we owe him $9 million.
I mean, exactly. Everyone thinks they like put the talent above everything else, and they say, "Oh, you're worth this much," and they think about it, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I could have paid like 10 up and coming players with that $9 million, as opposed to this guy who's getting paid $9 million for nothing. Like, damn.
By the way, I missed it. I missed Belly. So Belly81, what's up, man? What's going on? So he says it's going to cost you at least a first round pick, Yannick plus something else, maybe a player or another pick. Another pick. Then you have to pay $20 million. Yeah, so it's a lot, man. It's
to do what? To get who?
I think he was talking about Yannick. To get Yannick, it's going to cost a first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, Belichick likes to build to the draft, man. You know, he likes to choose his own guys.
I think Brandon said he wanted to see Yannick in Seattle. That's why.
Oh,
so
Seattle,
he's saying that the Hawks would have to give up their first round pick, which is probably
they keep asking
true.
Who's going to trust AB. Who would trust AB at this point?
Nobody. Why do you think nobody's picked him up?
It's just too much money.
If Bill Belichick couldn't get him to straighten his ass up, then I mean, the guy's the strictest coach in the NFL. Nobody could. If he couldn't do it, nobody can.
I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree that I don't see him signing anytime soon, but he could. He very well could. I don't know if he's another Kaepernick. I won't say that because Kaepernick wasn't that good, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but he really wasn't. Like,
Kaepernick doesn't have half the skill as AB.
Yeah,
does.
AB was like a top 3 receiver. Kaepernick was never even a top 10 quarterback, I don't think. Maybe for like half a season he was. Like, I don't know. He's not bad. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying he wasn't as skilled as AB. That's why AB got so many chances already, is because of how talented he is. Like, if Kaepernick, this is an instance, if Aaron Rodgers, right? If Aaron Rodgers did the same thing Kaepernick did, nothing would have happened. Nothing. It's all about skill and how much money you can bring in. And Kaepernick was probably losing money, therefore they're like, bye-bye.
So Belly says, if you could give a 1-year deal for $5 million to AB on a prove it deal, would you do it?
On a prove it deal.
A 1 year, $5 million. That's it.
You could probably find someone to do that if he's really willing to go down that low, and it's going to be like less than. It's possible. I mean, it's possible. Maybe like halfway through the season.
Brandon Rodgers. There's a reason why nobody's picked him up, because they know he's a head case. He's an absolute head case, and he literally refuses to listen to anybody. He listens to no one.
Another big problem too is like he'll have like this rage out, and everyone gets pissed sometimes. We get it, but he'll go on social media and he'll do all this crazy stuff, and then the next day, like literally like or 2 days later, he'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did that in the NFL and stuff." And he's done it like 10 times now, so the NFL is just like,
no.
I don't know. Like, what are you good today? Like, like it's just he could change any moment.
Vontez Burfict knocked his CTE loose.
Well, I hope not, but that is actually a possibility, probably.
He did. He knocked his CTE loose. It's rattling around all up in there.
That is the joke, but it's like it wouldn't be a joke if it wasn't at least half.
Somebody, I saw something online where they put a timeline up from the Burfict hit, and then they literally tracked all of his like misbehavior issues and all the off the. Dude, it stems back from that hit. You go previous to that hit, and I think he had like one, and that's it. It was that hit. That hit messed his ass up.
Brandon Rodgers thinks he does think AB will get a job really soon. I think it depends. Well, one, obviously, if we have a season at all, and I think it depends if he can stay quiet. If he can stay quiet for a long time, like if he can stay quiet for like, which I don't even know if he has, but if he can stay quiet for like 6 months, right? Just don't say anything, don't post anything, just train. Only post like training videos. That's it. That's all you do. You don't talk much. If you do that, I bet you'll get a prove it deal. I bet you will. I bet you'll get a prove it deal. Somebody will cave. They'll be like, shit, if we just had a nice receiver, and they'll give you $5 million.
Now, it's funny. So Bosgle's in the chat. So I was going to ask you this. It's perfect timing because she's a Cowgirls fan, Cowboys fan. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Will Dak get a massive payday, or are they gonna pay him?
They already paid him, didn't they?
Well, he got 33 on the franchise tag. I'm talking after.
Let me see what his deal is supposed to be.
It's a franchise tag. I'm saying, will they pay him?
Are you sure it's a franchise tag? Oh, never mind. Yeah, they did not agree to it officially.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's a franchise. So he's technically, the franchise tag is 33. Will the Cowboys pony? Do you think they'll pony up big money for him, or will they try and offer him something that's going to be more of a team friendly, kind of realistic money?
Well, that's the thing. Like, they've already offered him unrealistic money, I believe. If the rumors are to be believed, then they've offered him $115 million guaranteed and like $140 million total. So it's like, or 100. It was something like that. It was a lot of money, and it was like 33 a year for like 5 years. So it's like, if that's not enough for you, man, like, yeah,
right,
go get a different team.
I apologize, Bosgle, for calling you a Cowboys fan.
He said, I'm Niner gang now. No.
So she gave up on the Cowboys.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's awesome.
She jumped right off that bandwagon.
She said, nope, not anymore.
That some bitch was rolling and she was out.
That's funny. That's really funny. Wow.
Let's talk.
The franchise tag. He's gonna hold out. Belly says he's gonna hold out.
So Dax. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Won't sign the franchise tag, so that's why they're having problems. If that's true, man, the Cowboys are screwed. Honestly, if you let him hit the open market, he kind of has all the leverage now. It's kind of messed up because this is the Kirk Cousins situation. This is literally a verbatim Kirk Cousins situation where you don't want to fully believe in the guy, but you kind of believe in him and you don't want to lose him.
Think about this. What if, dude, Miami needs a quarterback. Dak's
There's like 8 teams that would give Dak $40 million a year, which is sad but true.
Miami would probably give him 30, 35. He'd probably give him 35.
The Cowboys offered him 33 with most of it guaranteed.
Miami would probably give him 35, realistically, because they need a quarterback. So I could see Miami giving him 35.
I actually take it back. This is not a Kirk Cousins situation because they did not offer Kirk Cousins to be a top 2 paid quarterback in the league. They did not. They offered him like chump change, or not chump change, but they offered him like $20 million a year, and he's like, no, I want 26. And then with Dak, they're offering him pretty much the going rate for a really good starting quarterback, not the best, but like the second best, and he's not taking it.
So here's my take on Dak. Right? Dak is like a tier 2 quarterback. Like when I think tier 1 quarterbacks, I think Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, Roethlisberger. A tier 1 quarterback, right? A tier 1 quarterback is a guy who's won a Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls. Those are tier 1 quarterbacks.
I think that mostly these days, tier 1 quarterbacks are the ones winning Super Bowls. Yeah. But I don't think that all quarterbacks who win a Super Bowl are tier 1. For instance, Nick Foles is not tier 1.
I'm talking I'm talking like money wise. You know what I mean? So if you want to go tier 1 money, like a 35 plus a year, I would feel comfortable. I would feel comfortable giving that to Breeze. I would feel comfortable giving that to Brady. I would feel comfortable giving that to Brady. I'm talking like in their primes, you know what I mean? I would feel comfortable giving that to I would feel comfortable giving 35 plus to Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah, I would too. And they did. And that was, or they gave him like 32.
dude, like, and here's the thing: Jimmy Garoppolo didn't live up to his money. They paid him Super Bowl winning money, and he choked that shit away in the second half.
Jared Goff, another situation, and that's the thing. They're offering him more than Jared Goff.
I know.
They don't want to regret this, man.
Is it is it like? But that's what I'm getting at. Like, those are the quarterbacks that are tier one. You know what I mean? Like, those are tier one guys. I don't think Dak is there yet, but is he showing improvement every year he's played? If I was Jerry Jones, I would tell Dak, if you make the AFC title game this year, we'll give you 35, because it's every year he's improving. You know, I'd give him an incentive. You make the AFC title game this year, you'll get your 35.
If he doesn't sign his contract, then Dallas Cowboy fans, in my opinion, should dislike him. They shouldn't dislike Jerry Jones, because this is the thing, man. When you're a Dallas Cowboys quarterback,
30 is plenty.
It's so much money.
Plenty.
And if you don't know your place, if you don't know your value, you come off as a jerk. You really do. You come off as a jerk, as somebody who's greedy and stuff. And I'm not saying he is greedy, because I don't think he is. I think it's mostly his agent just wanting to get as much as he can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I still think, man, like, take yes for an answer. You will be the highest paid quarterback, technically, in guaranteed money for like a couple weeks before Patrick Mahomes signs his deal. So take that headline and go play football. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the nickels and dimes. Take the headline, go play football. Take all the advertisements that you get from take all the advertisements you get from being a Cowboys quarterback, for God's sake. I mean, Tony Romo makes $20 million a year calling the games like once a week, man. Like, come on. Like, when you're a Cowboys quarterback, you are made in the shade. Fact or fiction? Like, you're totally made in the shade. Like, nobody knows who Stidham is, but everyone knows who Prescott is. They know who the backups are, even. Like, people know who Brandon Weeden was when he went to the Cowboys. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? That's my thoughts on Dak. Like, he's not a tier 1 guy, but he's definitely tier 2. He's showing improvement with every year he's been in the league. But I wouldn't pay him tier 1 unless he proved he can be a tier 1.
That's it. Like, he has to win the playoffs one more time, in my opinion. Like, he has to win one more time in the playoffs. I feel like that's what you got to do. But at the same time, it's like, even then, I don't know if I want to pay him, man, because it's like he's not going to elevate others. When he got Amari Cooper, he was a lot better. He played a lot better. Think if he didn't get Amari Cooper, how much leverage would he have right now?
None.
Would his stats
Probably
look the
none.
same? Well, that's my point. So, like, I'm looking at it from Jerry Jones' perspective, like, well, I had to get you someone and pay him $100 million for you to play that well. How do I know that you're even going to keep playing that well? You might have just had a good season. So I feel like he hasn't proved it yet. I really do. I don't think he's proved it. And I think he knows he hasn't proved it, and he's trying to cash in. Not necessarily Dak. I shouldn't say Dak, because it's not necessarily Dak, but it's his agent. And I think that his agent is trying to cash in on the fact that he had good stats and he led the league in like yards per game or something like that. It's like, all right, well, you still missed the playoffs. So, and it was in the worst division. You missed the playoffs in the worst division in the league. That's another good point to make, is the fact that if you were in any other division, you'd be a laughingstock.
But see, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what separates tier 1 and tier 2. Russell Wilson put the Seahawks on his back for like 4 games and legitimately willed them to wins. That's why he's tier 1.
He does it a lot.
Dak, the Cowboys last year asked Dak to do that a couple of times, and he couldn't do it.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. Mahomes, carried his team back from the brink of failure 3 times in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
3 times in one playoff run. Everyone's like, we're done. And then brought him back. We're done. Brought him back. We're done. Won the Super Bowl. Just like, can Dak do that? Because that's the kind of money he's asking for. He's asking for Patrick Mahomes money. Can you do what Patrick
I'm
Mahomes
gonna
does?
call this. I'm gonna put this on record right now, JD. Pat Mahomes is gonna get 45 to $48 million a year.
He deserves it.
Guaranteed.
His receiver literally came out before the Super Bowl and said, well, I want to stay with the Chiefs, but we have to pay Mahomes. So if I have to take a pay cut, it is what it is. Is anyone going to say that about Dak? Did Amari Cooper say that about Dak? No, because he knows he'd be successful anywhere. So the Cowboys have a lot of talent. I think that's really what the key is. And and Dak is just he's a good game manager. He's a solid game manager. He is not overwhelmingly talented.
Bosco says nobody could carry a team coached by Jason Garrett.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? We will find out. That's fair, and we will find out because that is why they replaced Jason Garrett. They got Mike McCarthy. Now there's no excuses because this guy won a Super Bowl.
So Nick Howard and me are kind of in agreement, except my threshold for it's a little higher. Nick says I'd feel comfortable paying Dak $23 million. Nick, I'm in the 20s as well, but I'm gonna say 25 to 28 is where I'd feel comfortable paying him. Until he proves to me that he can get to the AFC title game, I'm not giving him 30. I'm just not.
Nick, I totally agree with you, 100%. Nick Nasty, my guy, but the CBA has changed. Therefore, my mentality has changed about the money. I think that the money is fine, and I think that the headline is really what he's chasing. He wants to be the highest. I don't know. I think he's chasing the wrong things, or his agent is. That's what it is. You got to just be happy. I don't know. You got a big contract. It's bigger than Jared Goff. Take it. That's my message. But I mean, I feel what you're saying. In the old CBA, I'd be like, nah, dude. If the best quarterbacks are making $28 million, you're making 23. Get out of here. But now the best quarterbacks are making 40.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, you watch Mahomes. When Pat Mahomes' payday comes up, he could be get 45 to 48. Easy.
I think he could. I think he could because I think he could get $180 million to $200 million guaranteed. And the reason why is because they feel like with Mahomes, they don't have to overpay at all for receivers. They don't have to overpay. They already paid Tyreek Hill a team generous offer, which the reason why, and this is why I think he took this. I'll throw this out there in case anyone. This is kind of my conspiracy theory. Throw your tinfoil hat on really quick. I think that when Tyreek Hill, bro, I think that when he had that incident where he made the news and he was kind of abusive or whatever, potentially abusive with his kid. I think that's when the Chiefs decided, and this is a little bit crazy, and they won the Super Bowl, so it's cool. It worked out. But I think they decided, okay, we're going to use this moment to lowball him. We're going to use this moment to lowball Tyreek Hill a little bit. And then he signed that deal, and he's not making as much as some of the receivers are, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the case.
Now, what about so let's talk a little bit about the Chargers now, since they lost Phillip Rivers obviously signed with the Colts. He's out of there. They need a quarterback.
I like Tyrod Taylor.
I don't trust Tyrod Taylor. But I've seen Tyrod Taylor because we played the Bills when he was on the Bills. Bro, I don't trust Taylor at all. They need a quarterback. What up, Mosh?
What up, everybody?
Mosh in the house. What's up, man?
I trust Tyrod Taylor. I trust Tyrod Taylor to be a good fill-in. I do. I think that if there's a quarterback behind him, grooming under him, he'll be solid, and he'll show him a lot of things, because Tyrod Taylor you cannot take away that he's a professional. He may not be the most talented, not the best arm, not the most consistent, but he is a professional and he's a good player. He's not going to win you games. You got to win the games. The team has to win. That's for sure.
See, I think the Chargers are going to draft a quarterback this year. I really do. I think they could possibly even move up to try and get one.
I think they'd be stupid not to.
I think they're going to try it. Like, they're picking what, fifth now? I think fifth, right? Or sixth?
Something like here. Let me check. Actually, Chargers.
I think it's the fifth pick.
But yes, I mean, I definitely think that they should draft a quarterback. They're sixth right now. Sixth overall, okay, so in 37.
They might even try to move up to get a quarter. If they really believe in one this year, they might try and. Coach K,
question. Tua or Herbert?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know which one you'd want. Like, honestly, all these guys are kind of like running together in my head. Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Tua, they all seem talented, but they're all a coin flip in my opinion. Like, are they going to work out? Depends on the system, the right fits, the right teammates, everything. You know, we really don't know. There's no guarantee. Like, I feel like Trevor Lawrence next year is a guarantee. I feel like he's just a guarantee. You know what I mean? He's been balling since he was 19. He's been like a superstar for like 3 years now. So I feel like he's a guarantee. He's going to fit somewhere. But I don't know if these other guys are.
So Brandon Rogers says he thinks Herbert's going to be mediocre. I would tend to agree with that. I don't think his ceiling is very high. I don't think Herbert's ceiling. I actually think if Tua is healthy, I think Tua is going to do better than Herbert in the NFL. Even though Tua is a smaller guy, I still think Tua would be better than Herbert. I think Herbert and Fromm are going to struggle to kind of translate into the NFL. I don't have a lot of faith in those guys.
Dat Z and Sand says, I heard something interesting that the Redskins are trading down with the Dolphins. Then the Dolphins will get Tua and the Skins will get the 5th pick, so they can get Chase. So Chase Young will go to Detroit. My only thing is, like, Ron Rivera, bro, he's going to draft defense. So
yeah. Yep, he's a defensive minded guy, so he'll probably go pass rusher first.
I mean, it's possible that you're right, but I think that if Chase Young's on the board, I think he'll try to get him, but maybe not. Who knows?
Hey, Coach K, I've never really been a Fromm. Like that when they blew that title game, that was like the culmination for me. I was like, yeah, I kind of like I could, I could see the choke coming.
See, Connor Burke says he'd give up. He'd need all 3 first-round firsts from Miami, and yeah, it's like, bro, if Chase Young is really that good, are you really going to give up on a rookie superstar? Like, look what happened with Nick Bosa this year or last year. I mean, come on, a rookie defensive end could change your entire culture.
Yeah, that rush off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, you take that. Yeah, what do you think of so we kind of been a little bit different places. What do you think? So, do you think the Cowboys can win with Mike McCarthy? Do you think Mike McCarthy is the guy?
I think it's a definite improvement over Garrett. A definite improvement over Garrett. I don't think Garrett held a lot of people accountable. And I think McCarthy as a coach is going to do that when guys, when they screw up, they're going to be, held accountable. And I think he's a better coach than Garrett. So I think the Cowboys should be better this year. I think they'll be better. I just or at least the locker room will be better. You know what I mean? The locker room will be better, and those guys will be focused on game day I I don't know. The Cowboys are that division. The NFC East is hard to predict, man. It's that those teams go back and forth all the time, so it's tough. But Mike McCarthy's definitely a better coach than Garrett. I mean, that's no contest.
I think so too. I think he's a better coach. I think he adds some stability and some direction that they didn't have. So like you said, some discipline. Like he'll hold people accountable. I think he holds people accountable so much, really, that he kind of got fizzled out in in Green Bay, and I think it was good for him to take a year off. It's like I said earlier about Ron Rivera in episode 4 of JD Rants. Is that it's not that Rivera was the wrong coach for the Panthers, but sometimes you just got to change the voice in the room. Like sometimes you just got to add a different, like same with Mike McCarthy. Like it's not that he was the problem in Green Bay necessarily, but by changing the voice in the room, you get people to buy in differently. You get people to, it's a fresh face basically. Sometimes you need that, sometimes you get sick of people, honestly. And it's something against them. It's just, it is what it is.
No, I 100% agree. So like with Garrett on his way out, right? You go from a guy with absolutely no discipline at all, right, to a guy who's going to hold you accountable. It might make the Cowboys better. Like it could do them some good.
Chris says, Bobby, I'm back. How surprised would you be if the New England Patriots picked up a QB in the first round?
Not at all, because I think they're going to do that. I already think they're going to do that. I think QB is going to be their first pick. Now, who is it going to be? I don't know. I don't know. There could be a lot of quarterbacks taken off the board by then.
I'm going to push back on. I don't think that quarterback will be their first pick because of what you just said. I don't know. Because if it's Jordan Love, sure, take him. If it's like 2 other people, sure, take him. But if it's Jake Fromm or if it's other people, like you might want to. What if AJ Espinosa's on the board? Like I had my mock draft. Who do you want? A quarterback or a really good defensive end rusher or an edge rusher to replace Kyle Van Noy? Who would you want rather?
That's true. And they might even lose, or they might lose Donta Hightower because they're trying to restructure his contract now, and I heard they're running into some roadblocks with that. So,
and if Stidham is the starter, then you could draft late and groom a guy for a year to see if he's any better, and if Stidham's the guy, because that's the thing. Like I feel like Stidham is the starter.
Brandon Rodgers, neither one. They both suck. Screw them both. Sign Winston or Cam, neither one of them.
Belly81 says, didn't the Cowboys get worse when they took the play calling away from Garrett last year? He didn't call the plays. He got let go from doing that. The person calling the plays is still there. That's Kellen Moore. The thing about Kellen Moore, though,
he was bad to start because it was his first time ever. Like Garrett always, like that was the first kind of thing the kind of responsibility they actually gave to Moore. And I think as the season went on, he got much better at it. But I think I think it was a shock to him because I don't think even he knew he was going to get that responsibility.
Well, and I also think that Kellen Moore, it's too early to tell with him. He's not necessarily a product of Jason Garrett. So, like, I see what you're saying. Like, he was the guy that called the plays, but then he delegated someone else to. But the reason why that guy was on the roster, I think he was on the roster, like, right before Garrett even got there. He was a backup to Tony Romo. And then he became a quarterback's coach, and then he became an offensive coordinator. So I feel like it's kind of, like, separate. And also, here's another thing to note. That the Cowboys offense statistically got better. They just didn't win as much. So the passing game got better. They just didn't win. That's why Garrett left. Or got fired, rather. But we got a few questions here.
Andy Dalton? No way. The washed up red rifle? No.
He's out on that one. And then he says, off topic, brought up by Boswell, since the announcement of the virus being cyclic, what are your thoughts on this and the effects of the NFL? I think we talked about that earlier in the show a little bit.
Yeah, we started off with talking whether or not we were actually going to even get an NFL season.
Yeah, and I mentioned that I think it's almost entirely based on how well the NBA does for like advertising revenue, and also how if like anything spreads during that time, like if they're actually able to isolate the situation. But no, I don't think they're anticipating an NFL season. I think it would be a surprise, honestly. At least not a
So,
delayed one.
I mean, just to kind of put it into a little bit of a perspective, right? There's like 7,000 cases in Massachusetts. At the peak, they're saying there's going to be 75,000. So, they're prepping for something bad
Yeah, I mean, and
and
I think
hoping
that,
for the best.
I
So
think that
with
the numbers
all that,
are
like,
unreliable.
I just it really depends on how quickly they're able to get this under control. That's what it depends on. The NFL season is 100% dependent on how fast this thing gets put under control.
I 100% agree with that. I think that's like 100% true. If they're able to contain it, because a lot of people are saying it's really mixed reports. Like the most dire people are saying, oh, we're gonna be like out for like a whole year. Probably won't even have an NFL season. Nothing like that. We're not even gonna have the playoffs. That's what the most dire situation is. But a lot of people are saying we could start getting back to normal around May or June. So it really is a mixed bag. We really don't know, and it's a waiting game.
Here's the thing, right? The NFL could play games in empty stadiums. It would be a risk, right? It would be a risk, but they could still get the ad revenue because they're still playing the game.
True.
You know what I mean? They're still their advertisements would still run because they would still be broadcasting the game on TV. You know what I mean?
And that's all they care about. It's all about the money. Like keep that in mind.
So I mean, is it a risk? Yeah, but it's a calculated risk. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they would take every precaution they could to, and not like it's a calculated risk. It is, but I mean, if you're asking me, I would take NFL in empty stadiums over nothing at all.
What's up, everybody in the chat? Shout out to you. I would say I agree. I would take NFL and empty stadiums over that, and the NFL above any other sport, honestly, probably has the toughest decision to make because we talked about it earlier. Where baseball, if you lose a season of baseball, pretty much I would assume you're just going to lay over everyone's contract to the next season. The owners are going to take a huge hit, and that's pretty much the end of the discussion. But if you lay over football, that's like $2 billion of ad revenue just gone, just gone, and that's maybe even more than that, honestly. And I don't know if people can afford to lose that. Honestly, that's my thought about it. Like the NFL, really wants to get this going. The NBA is actually lucky. I'll say this really quick. The NBA is really lucky because they caught it early and they tested early. So everyone in the NBA has pretty much been tested. Almost everyone.
QC, what's up, dude?
What up, QC? What up, everybody in the chat? I see a lot of haze, and I haven't.
Dragon's Butterfly in the chat. What's up? What do you? So let's move to a different team, JD. I got a few more for you. Since the homie QC is in the house, I was gonna say, do you think the Stephon Diggs trade out of Minnesota is going to affect that team, or do you think they'll still be able to? You think they'll draft they'll draft a wide receiver and try and replace Diggs, or how do you think that's going to affect Minnesota this year?
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. But I was going to say, I think that they're a shaky offense to begin with, and they rely heavily on Dalvin Cook, and they'll continue to be a shaky offense and rely on Dalvin Cook. I think they're going to miss Diggs a little bit. Obviously, they're going to miss the over-the-top threat, and that will definitely affect Thielen. Maybe he'll get more yards. Maybe he'll get exposed. Who knows? We'll see. He got paid, so that will be interesting to watch. I think Dalvin Cook is pretty much the catalyst. If Dalvin Cook plays well, Kirk Cousins will play well. If they don't, it will be bad. What up, Landon?
So QC, you said so. QC says the Vikings got other priorities in the draft instead of receivers. So QC, what do you think? JD, what do you think? If you're Minnesota, what would you
Ooh, I mean, they are a
they might
well-rounded team. They always have been.
they 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 might go Minnesota might go D. They might pick defense first.
I think they could. I think a linebacker. What's his name? I don't remember if he's still playing there. Probably not. Chad Greenway was a huge like stability for them, and they don't have. I don't think they have a guy like that anymore. They could use a really good. I don't know what their scheme is anymore. I think Zimmer doesn't do the same scheme as they used to, so I don't know what the scheme is. But they could use a really solid defensive piece for sure, whether that's a secondary guy or linebacker. But at the same time, I also think that you could always get better at O-line. And O-line is probably the most dire just across the league, the most dire
give
needed.
Cousins some damn time. Yeah,
And that's what Cousins, if you want to win with Cousins, you're going to need a good team. So
a good O line in front of him. Yeah.
absolutely. He said, who do you think will be better, the Bears or the Vikings?
That's gonna. I mean, now that the Vikings,
That's the
now that the Bears have a quarterback who's not afraid to throw the ball, it's gonna be interesting.
Let me be hyperbolic for a second. Nick Foles is the greatest quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears franchise. We don't have much to work with, and he's the best.
So
Sad but true.
QC said he thinks cornerback or O line. So those are what he says.
So we're kind of on the same page. I thought like a defensive spot and then an O-line. Yeah, O-line's always good to get. I mean, if you can get an O-lineman, you get him because there's not many anymore.
QC says, and that's assuming Foles will even be starting by the time you play the Vikings.
Well, that's kind of nice, actually, in my opinion. I feel like now Trubisky has this. Before he had Chase Daniel next to him, which is like, okay, cool, you're never going to replace me. But now he's got Nick Foles next to him, Super Bowl MVP. So he's going to be playing. Man, he's already got that book open like, oh, crap, I can't lose my job. And I'm hoping Nick Foles becomes a really highly paid backup and Trubisky can turn into something good. Trust me, that's what we're all hoping. Everyone wants Trubisky to succeed, but we don't think he can.
QC, the Vikings did lose a lot of D this year. They lost a lot on defense this year. He said he would give the Bears the edge because of the loss on D and Diggs leaving.
I'll give the Bears the edge because I feel like Kirk Cousins is like peaked out, and I don't know if the Vikings are talented enough to kind of like carry him, I guess, for lack of a better term, without the money. But the Bears kind of are more motivated. They're like, oh crap, we have to get back to 2018. But who knows, dude? The Lions could sneak in there. We have no idea. The NFC North seems to shift a lot every year. So, Aaron Morgan said, "Do you think we can draft Jordan Love?" Who's we, Aaron? Who's your team?
I think she's a Pats fan. I'm pretty sure. Aaron, it really depends on somebody else might take him before we get a chance to.
Like John Gruden. I can see John Gruden.
So Crazy Blade says, I'm hoping the Chargers move back and get Jordan Love.
I don't know if he'll be that far back.
It's like I said, dude, this is going to be the teams that need quarterbacks this year are going to be desperate to get inside the top 10, to get inside that top 6 or 8 picks. You know what I mean? To go and get the guys they want. I'm like, you're going to see, I think you're going to see some of these teams, that are outside that top 12 bubble really start to try and make a move to get inside the top 10 to get their guys this year.
Leedy says Mitchell Trubisky Trubisky will lose his job to Foles. And Belly81 says, should the Pats trade the Dolphins for Rosen, he'll be better than what they got. What do you think about that, Bobby?
Well, it all depends. Like, I think they're gonna. I personally think they're gonna draft a quarterback, and they'll draft a quarterback because they're gonna keep Hoyer on to kind of keep they'll keep Hoyer on to keep Stidham's head level, being a like veteran presence guy, and then they'll draft their quarterback. You know, because then I think Hoyer, after a year or two, will be able to leave the team, and it'll be, you know, I think that's what they're gonna roll with. I think that's the likely scenario for the Patriots, at least a quarterback.
I think they'll draft one. If it's not in the first, if it's not Jordan Love, then it'll be in like the third round probably, or somebody like Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, something like that. Det Z Insane said, my prediction for the Bears is they have a top 3 defense. Their offense gets better, then Foles gets hurt again. Trubisky tanks his way to the playoff hopes, takes the playoff hopes away, and they go 8-8 again. Matt Nagy gets fired. Stop being realistic. Let me live in my fantasy bubble, all right? Come on, man.
But see, if Nagy was smart, he would just whoever won that QB battle in you know, whoever won the QB battle in OTAs and preseason is who would get the damn job. Like if Foles is better, sit Trubisky's ass on the bench.
I think that's what will happen because keep in mind, Nagy does not have. There's no warm relationship between Nagy and Trubisky. He likes Trubisky as a kid, you know, he likes him, but he didn't draft him. John Fox was the coach, I believe, when we drafted Trubisky or something like that. Was it John Fox? Who the hell was it? I don't even know. I believe it was John Fox. But regardless, he doesn't like Trubisky. He wants a guy who can run his offense really well. And guess who can run his offense and won a Super Bowl with it? Nick Foles. Because people forget. A lot of people forget. They're like, oh, Nick Foles. He wasn't good on the Rams. Bro, that was under Jeff Fisher. Come on. Like, under Chip Kelly, he went 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Under Andy Reid, he was solid. And under Doug Peterson, he won a Super Bowl. And we got Matt Nagy, who has also worked under Doug Peterson. So it's like, come on, man. We could totally win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. But at the same time, I'm scared that sorry, I forgot your name. Dat Z Insane. I'm scared that Dat Z Insane is right, and he's gonna get hurt, and Trubisky's gonna fail.
Welcome to mediocrity again, Chicago.
No, not again for the 20th year in a row.
By the way, fuck this quarantine stuff.
Oh,
just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, it sucks. Can't hang out and chill with people, and yeah, it's unfortunate.
We've all like become hermits.
Yes, I mean I stay at home a lot anyway, but because I live in Iowa and there's not much to do. But still, yeah.
Because I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, so we're good.
It's all good. Middle of nowhere. We're used to this. Everyone's like, wait, you want to go outside? Why? It's just going to be cold or hot in every 5 seconds. Like, oh, it's hot. Oh, it's cold. It's windy. QC,
Sounds like
from
New
Iowa,
England.
that's right.
Sounds like New England.
I believe it.
QC
Yeah, you guys
got
were
that.
out.
QC got that Iowa love too.
Hell yeah. I mean, Iowa's great. There's nothing wrong with Iowa. It's just still weather's a little crappy. That's all. And there's no internet.
And Enzo's down there in Jersey.
Jersey, stay safe out there, man. Cover your mouth in Jersey. I heard it's bad over there.
Yeah, for real.
But anyway, yeah, this has been interesting. We got into a lot of teams.
So,
I think of another one.
I got one more for you.
Oh, sure.
Do you think the Bills can win the division?
Yes. Yes, I do. I do think the Bills can win the division. I think that if anyone's going to win the division, it'll be the Bills because I don't think the Jets have like the little brother complex with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. They have like the little brother complex where it's like, oh, we'll never be quite as strong or as tough as my older brother. You know what I mean? No matter how many years pass or whatever. They got that. So I feel like until they get rid of that, which is going to get rid of the GM, coaches got to or the owner's got to scrap everything except for the quarterback, in my opinion, to get rid of that. Because I don't think Adam Gase, he was with the Dolphins and they had a little brother complex. So it's like you're not really upgrading with Adam Gase from anyone. But yeah, the Bills have a chance. Like you said, I think coaching is the only thing that might limit them. The Patriots coaching could just be better than everybody else's, which is possible. So I think, yes, the Bills, the Patriots. The Dolphins, maybe, but I just don't. Like, they'd have to take a huge step forward. Huge. They would have to just start dominating.
I think the Bills and Dolphins are loading up. They're gearing up to make runs at the division.
Hey, good old Pete. What's up, man? I
What's
missed a lot
up,
of these
Pete?
comments. Sorry, guys. He said, Bobby, do you think football will be delayed or it'll be over then?
Yes, I think it'll be delayed. I think we're still going to get it, but I think it's going to be delayed.
Right now, I absolutely think that OTAs are done. We're not doing OTAs. Summer months.
No OTAs, and I bet 3/4 of the preseason is done.
That's probably guaranteed, and it doesn't look good for the early regular season. But again, it depends, in my opinion. Again, like what we talked about earlier, their ad revenue with the NBA, how they handle it, etc. If they make enough money, if you make if the NBA makes like 500 mil off the playoffs or something, I don't even know what the number would be. Honestly, I can't give you a good number. But if they make a lot of money off of the playoffs, that's a solid number. They didn't have to charge for any playoff tickets, and they lost probably like, I don't know, 20 mil for that. They're going to look at it as like, bro, we made like this much off of ads. We don't care about these tickets. Screw it. We can play the games without fans. And like you said earlier, you could quarantine players, but they could still carry it, which is the hardest part of all this.
Hey, good old Pete, everything's getting pushed back and canceled, man. You know what I mean?
Everything in the world, man. It's either being shut. Like, I feel bad for this. I feel worse for the smallest businesses, the ones who are still trying to get up.
The little mom and pop shops, because
hamstring.
Yeah, because those little mom and pop shops, the margins are already like paper thin. You know what I mean? They're already paper thin, and then you add something like this on top of it. I mean, they're losing $5,000 in business a day.
Absolutely. So and obviously the bailouts help, or whatever you want to call it, the stimulus, I guess is the word. But it's still, I mean, it's customers, it's branding, it's all that stuff.
But I still like I said, I would take football in empty stadiums over no football at all.
I think most people would, and I think that people would watch it. Therefore, I think they'd make enough money.
Yeah, and like I said, as long as it's still on TV, JD, they can still run their ads. So their advertisement money, their endorsement money, still going to be coming in, and they could still pay players off of that.
Something I'm really curious. It's not really have to do with football, but I do want to get your opinion and the opinion of the chat really quick. So like baseball started a little bit last year, putting stuff on YouTube. I can't imagine that they have the same margins for like the advertising companies.
That was a sign of, to me, that was a sign of desperation.
Exactly. So like, would YouTube make a contract with them saying, "Hey, put it on here. We'll give you more money."
They probably had some sort of a deal worked out. But dude, that's a desperation deal. Giving it to people free like that, that's a desperation deal.
Well, in the NFL, I mean, if YouTube drops, like, let's say YouTube's like, all right, we'll match whatever the TV would have done. Like, boom. Because YouTube it's Google, they're rich.
So the other coach K said it's going to hurt college football even more than the NFL because their season starts in August. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
So it's going to hurt college way more than it's going to hurt the NFL.
You could argue, bro, that college football is definitely not happening. Like pros, you could maybe get away with.
I don't think we're going to see a college football season this year. I really don't.
I'm not saying it's free labor, but not in a time of crisis. Yeah, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get college this year. I really don't. And good old Pete, I am 100% with you. The NHL is done. We are not going to see NHL at all. So for those that we talked about this earlier, the Boston Bruins, the TD Garden, the Garden where the Bruins and Celtics play, they have thawed out the ice for the Bruins and basically let it thaw and drain, and they've taken the basketball court floor up and basically put it in storage. So I mean, and they don't do like, it takes them 3 days to set up, like I think two days to set up the ice and groom it and paint it and do all the stuff that they do to the ice to get it ready for the Bruins, and then they basically just leave it there for the whole season and put the basketball court over the top of it. Well, they've put both of them into storage and they're done. Like hockey and basketball, I don't think we're going to see an NBA season this year, and I really don't think we're going to see an NHL one either.
One thing that bodes well for the NHL and the NBA is that it did happen. It did happen. Like the NBA, like I said, has the best chance of completing the season, I feel like, because there's a lot less people. They make most of their money off ad revenue anyway. We've made all those points. But the NHL, yeah, man, like it would suck not to have a Stanley Cup winner for the NHL. I think we'll have one for the NBA. It does bode well, though, for them. The fact that it's going to be probably over. We don't know, but it could be over by December. And if it is over by December, that would mean that we just have a really shortened NBA and NHL season next year. But, yeah, like you said, if they thawed out the ice, that could be
Dude, they
really
put everything
bad.
away. They put it into storage.
That could mean
they put it away.
That could mean a lost season for the NHL.
That's what I'm saying. The NHL and the Bruins and Celtics, the basketball and hockey are toast. They're done.
That's sad to see. I think basketball, because
It sucks too because I wanted it. It sucks too because I wanted to see if the Celtics could compete with the Bucks for the East.
They might, but the problem is they are going to like shorten it. They're going to like lessen it. So let me ask you this really quick before we close up shop or anything like that for basketball, since we talked a lot of football, really quick for basketball. So like, what would you want? Because like I read this article on JD Rants on one of my episodes, and it said that they are considering 3 possibilities. Right now, the thought is that they're going to resume the regular season in Vegas with like a quarantined area in like
I read that. Yeah, I heard about this.
Summer.
They're going to do it in some court in Vegas or whatever, right?
Yeah, late in the summer, not early. Like in like 4 months or something, they're going to do this. So they're going to have a super late regular season, and then a super late start to the regular season next year. They're going to have like 50 regular season games starting in December. If that's the case, then it really won't matter much for the NBA. But if the NHL, that's my thought. It's like if the NHL is already thawing shit out, then it's like, man, they really must think it's way worse. I don't know. What is your and also for the NBA, sorry, really quick, the NBA, they talked about a single game tournament, like a one and done, basically. If you win or lose,
I think that's stupid.
That's stupid. Exactly.
Stupid.
That's what I was gonna say.
They need to have some sort of a playoff series design, like something. When they were talking to Jason Tatum today on the radio, and he was saying, he's like we're gonna need to like unless you guys want to see really shitty basketball, like we've been sitting doing nothing for a month now, a month and a month, like he even said, he goes, I haven't picked a basketball up in a month. Like
wow.
It's gonna take us a week to get our bearings back together and get ramped up and ready to go again.
I think that's why they want like a 5 to 10 game regular season.
That's what I'm with that. I'll take that. Give me that scenario.
That's like the best scenario, and Karam says they'll probably do it, or he didn't say that probably, but that was another scenario that we talked about in the article of my show. I think Karam was in that chat. That was they were going to potentially do a best of 5. Hey, what's up, QC? See you later, bro. But yeah, if they do a best of 5, a best of 5 is acceptable. I feel like that's the minimum, though. If you do a best of 3, I don't like that either.
No, you have to make it at least a 5.
I'll accept that champion. That'll be the champion. If you do best of 7, that's best. If you do best of 3, I don't like that. I don't think that's the real NBA champion. That'll have a giant asterisk. And a 1 game is out of the question, in my opinion. You can't do 1. If you might as well just cancel it.
Good old Pete. Yes, they absolutely did. That's one of the main driving reasons why they put Gronk on WrestleMania, is to draw views. Because since there's no fans, they're freaking desperate. So yes, that's 100% why they put him on there.
How was that, by the way? Was that fun?
It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
No.
Maybe I'll tune in.
He's hosting WrestleMania, but of course they did it. It's a publicity stunt, man. They're trying to. There's no fans. There's no fans. No rate. Like no. You know what I mean? It's their ratings are shit. Like they're doing every.
Yeah, I mean, people are starting to watch other things, and that's the thing with like, they're moving up the Michael Jordan documentary because people aren't watching ESPN because there's nothing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
There's no highlights, so they're realizing, oh crap, we're losing our viewers because there's no highlights. So we got to move.
Well, they're
up this
also losing
documentary.
viewers because ESPN sucks too.
That's the main reason they're losing viewers. That's why they've lost viewers the last 5 years, is because ESPN has slowly degraded, like by getting rid
because
of
they fired
people.
all the people that were actually good.
They fired the core of ESPN. And they hired a bunch of.
Well, that's because did you read, dude? I don't know if you read the articles, but the core at ESPN was getting sick of the BS behind the scenes.
Yeah, he said. Other coach says just a bunch of guys talking about nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're all just trying to like. I don't know. They don't even talk about sports anymore. Like, come on. But anyway, he said, I give WWE credit for making the best of a dire situation. I like Fox Sports too. I think it's pretty good. I like the radio. He said they should postpone it, make it simple, and postpone it until at least the summer.
Yep, I agree, Leedy. I 100% agree. Coach K, yes, Fox Sports is good.
I enjoy it. I think they have a lot of good, solid people on it. Do I think Skip and Colin are a little crazy? Sure. And Shannon, they're a little crazy? Sure. But they're entertaining and they're fun to watch.
But at least they actually talk. At least they actually talk sports.
That's all they do.
Drama.
Absolutely. Don't mess with the mouse. Right on, man. Man, this is interesting, though. A lot of interesting topics that we covered. I really hope we get to the NBA.
There's going to be a lot for the, just to kind of recap, guys. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be because one, you're going to get to see the direction. This draft's going to show you the direction of kind of, some of the futures of these teams, because, teams that are going to be hunting for quarterbacks like Miami and the Chargers, they're going to be hunting for quarterbacks, and so that they're going to be something to watch this draft in the upcoming season. Like there's can Lamar keep the pace up that he was at last year? Can he still perform at that level? That's something to watch. There's a lot of narratives. There's a lot of narratives to keep your eye on this year. How's Brady going to do in Tampa Bay?
There's a lot of narratives in the NBA too. There's a lot of parity. There's a lot of parity in football. This is a bad time to lose. This is not like
dude, this was such a shit time to lose all the sports because of all the good storylines that were going on.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, yeah, and you know what? Thank you guys for watching. Coach K says thank you guys for keeping content going. Thanks for watching. I mean, I definitely check out a lot of you guys' channels, the ones who make content, and I mean, that's our job, man.
Keep it going, Coach. We try and keep it going. Me and JD we'll be here. That's for sure. We're definitely gonna keep. We're definitely gonna keep it going.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. For the NBA, Kawhi and LeBron battle of LA. I mean, no matter how you break up the bracket, in my opinion, the Lakers and the Clippers end up in the Western Conference Finals. Like it's almost like guaranteed going to happen,
dude. And think about how phenomenal of a 7-game series that would have been.
Oh, it might. I mean, I still have hope. But like, yeah, it would be a great series. That's the thing, man. Like next year, we don't know if we have LeBron. Like every year, he's getting older and older and older, and we just don't know what we got. So we got to be really careful about like if this really was the last year. Think about what a cliffhanger this would have been. Think about what a cliffhanger, man. Like it would have been if sorry, babe. Think about what a cliffhanger it would have been if LeBron James. Like if they just don't have the season, they just don't finish it. Like for not only just for LeBron, but for every other team. Like Kobe died, and then we don't have the finals. Like this is the worst year in NBA history. It'd be horrible. That'd be really bad.
Yeah, like I said, I would rather. I'm one of those guys that, as long as they could do it safely, right? Safely and in as much of a controlled environment as they could. If I gotta watch sports in with no fans, but still, if I gotta watch sports with no fans, if it's that or no sports at all, give me it with no fans, dude. I'll take it in empty arenas.
I think that definitely. I really think that they're going to get that done. I think that hey, what's up, Key in the building? Welcome. I really think that they're going to get at least that done. I think I think they'll have the playoffs. I think we will. I think we'll have the playoffs. I have faith. Because they've already tested all the players. That's one thing that the NBA was able to do that maybe other teams, other leagues couldn't do. I'm not sure about the NHL. Didn't hear about it, but if they really do test everyone and everyone is able to pass the test, then I don't see why not. And if it's like one or two players per team that have COVID, you telling me you can't have the playoffs? Come on.
Just confine those players. Confine them for 3 weeks and call it, until they recover, and then they can return back to the team.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like, I don't see the reason why we can't have the playoffs.
It's going to be interesting. Like, dude, think about this too. I think the biggest pressure point for sports to return isn't going to be sports related at all. Who do you think's going to put the most pressure on sports to come back?
Oh, I mean, for one thing, I mean,
I don't think it's going to be sports related at all. There's one direction that I think is going to put the most pressure on the league.
What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's the casinos.
Oh,
sports
okay.
betting.
Gambling. Oh, yeah. I think that
Dude, they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. They canceled March Madness. Think about that.
Yeah.
And now there hasn't been an NBA. There hasn't been one sport played in 6 weeks. Dude, they are losing hundreds of millions of dollars a day. The casinos, Vegas, the books, they're going to be putting pressure on these guys saying, when the hell are we starting again? Because we're losing money.
I mean, I 100% agree. Like, they absolutely, they're losing a lot of money, and gambling is really important to a lot of people. It pays the bills. Vegas is probably really pissed off right now, and they're like,
dude, think about the people that own these casinos, the owners of these casinos.
Losing millions, and those are the ones that are those are the ones who make the decisions. So they're going to be pushing for this extremely hard.
Yeah,
and I mean, honestly, like, everyone's pushing for it for the simple fact that I mean, everything else sucks. Honestly, like, what else are you going to watch? Like, the news? It's just a bunch of angry people yelling at each other. So people want sports. They want entertain. They want, like, real life entertainment. And there's nothing better than sports, because it's like a real life reality show.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So he said that's why I'm making it. Yeah, I'm reading these comments.
It's just a cough, guys. I don't have the COVID.
Exactly.
Just throwing it out there. I don't know if anybody, all you guys freak out.
I don't have the COVID. Not yet.
I do not have the Rona.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We got a Giants, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins fan. You're a Giants fan and a Red Sox fan? Interesting. So that was probably.
So if I had to guess, if she's a Giants fan, a Red Sox, a Celtics, and a Bruins, I would think she probably lives somewhere near the New York border. That would be my guess. Because somewhere down in Connecticut or somewhere along the New York border. Usually that's what happens. Those people tend to gravitate. You know what I mean? The people in those areas tend to gravitate towards the Giants.
Maybe we got a Patriot hater here. Maybe that's what it is. She saw a 2007 Super Bowl and was like, "Oh, that's my new team." No, I'm just kidding. Probably not. He says there's only so much 2K and Madden you can play. I feel you, but to be honest with you guys,
Rona, good old Pete.
The Chick-fil-A virus, the Kung Fu flu. Oh, that's horrible. No, that's funny though. But anyway, yeah, 2K, man. I'm doing some NBA rebuilds, so check that out. JD Rants 2 and soon JD Rants regular. That'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, Leedy hates the Patriots. He does. He's saltier than the Dead Sea.
So I live in Rhode Island, but I like the Giants as a kid. Started liking them. That makes sense. Okay. So now,
all right, gotcha. So you grew up a Giants fan. Okay, cool.
So sports is what makes everyday life fun for me. It's not the most important thing. It's just what people gather around. It's true. It's what everyone can kind of like agree on, or like you can rib people about. Yeah, it's fun.
We all have fun with it though. But I think that's all we got, man. We covered a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
The draft this year is going to be really interesting. I'm expecting a lot of movement. The top 12, 15 picks, I think you're going to see a lot of movement. I think you're going to see people trying to move as far down in the draft or as far up in the draft as they can get. So Taurus Bull says he's an Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers fan. So he's from Philly.
Hey, Dat Z Insane. I didn't mean to remove that comment that you made. My bad. I meant to follow your channel. My fault. I accidentally just removed it.
Whoops.
My bad. Sorry about that, buddy. We did it aloud, so it's not like we didn't see it. But anyway, yeah, that was fun. Definitely. I got some. I think I'm going to do the more Knicks rebuild tonight. I took the Knicks from the second overall.
Yeah, you said you were rebuilding them on 2K,
finals.
Right?
Yeah, we made it to the Western Conference Finals and we lost in 7 to the 76ers. And we got our butts kicked, but yeah, in the last game.
So
Good
Coach
time.
K is a Titan fan. I did know that. He said, "Tighten up."
I'm down to do more of these. This is fun though. Yeah, great chat. Got a lot of interesting topics that we did. It's fun.
Yeah, we covered. I'm telling, dude. There's a lot. The NFL draft this year is going to be interesting. And now did you hear the talk one more thing before we close?
Sure.
Are they pushing the NBA draft back? I thought I heard something about them pushing the draft back because of
I'm pretty
this.
sure.
I heard
I'm pretty sure
sometime
they
in the
would like
fall.
to do the playoffs before.
Yeah, I heard they were trying to push the NBA draft back into the fall, which would make sense because they want the playoffs before the draft.
I should keep playing that, Pete. I'll keep trying to play NBA 2K my career, but yeah, that would be smarter in my opinion. They really want to get the playoffs. I think the playoffs are going to be done in like June or July.
Yeah,
if they're done at all. So.
But I think that is all we got for y'all today. That was fun though, JD. We hit on a lot of stuff, talked about a lot of good, interesting storylines coming up for the
Thanks
NFL.
for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. But I think
Anytime
that's
at
all we got for you guys today. So from myself, Butcher's Block and Patriots Talk, Bobby, and JD Rants, we are out of here, guys. Y'all have a good evening, and we gone. See ya.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace.